So why do you think we have to like wait on God?
Waiting, waiting is it's really big thing. And waiting, as believers, we ask God for so many things, and waiting is taking your time, being patient, and letting God provide or do that thing that you've asked Him to do. He has to go through people to grant that request. So when you say that God give me this thing, He has to touch somebody's heart. So that's the between that period, you are waiting on God to grant you that request. So it's like our day-to-day activities. You go to the store or order something online, you have to wait for them to ship it. So
So I think in addition to what you said, um, sometimes I think we just feel like we understand the concept of time. But truly, God our creator is the one who knows the time. Time and season is in his hands. And at the moment we kind of think that, oh, we want this exactly by this time, but do we know God's timing for us? And that's why waiting comes in. Like we need to wait. And then when we pray together we get the answers immediately. It's like we're in control and God is not in control. How about we just make things flow the way He wants it for us? Because He has designed it in such a way that in everything we do, His glory will be revealed. For instance, if when before Lazarus died, when he was sick, and then they were like, "Oh, come, Lazarus is sick, he's about to die," and he had gone there, and then immediately Lazarus was okay. I feel like they won't really see the glory of God revealed in that. But the moment he died, and then he came, and then he was risen from the dead, it was like something that never happened before.
well, it made so many people believe that Jesus got power.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
He did. So that weight of Lazarus being dead for 4 days really, I think, brought so many people to believe in that truly is the Lord, is Christ.
Yeah, so our testimonies can encourage others. When we wait and at the end of the day it comes like boom, it encourages people around us, to wait on God. And then they now start seeing God in a very, very different picture, when God reveals Himself through us. So I guess that's why we have to learn God. What do we do when we wait on God? What do we do when we wait on God?
What do I do when I'm asking God for an urgent prayer? Depending on the type, the need, right? If I need healing, I need it urgent. But that time, what do? I don't dwell on the problem that, oh, it's not going away. When I pray to God, give me healing, heal my head, do something, I think about the thing already is done. Because in Hebrews 11 it says that without faith it is impossible to please God, right? So when you are waiting on God, you don't doubt yourself or doubt God that He will do that, He will provide that need. You believe that the need is already granted.
Oh, so I think that would be the attitude of faith.
Yes.
Faith.
Yes. Having that faith that, yes, my God has already provided that need. I'm waiting to celebrate. I'm not waiting to cry. I'm waiting to enjoy the blessing He's bringing. If you order something and you wait for so long and it comes, do you cry? You're happy because
Finally, I have it.
Yeah. So when you are waiting on God, you are all prepared. Your feeling, your five senses all prepared to celebrate with you. So what you need to do is believe, vision it, visualize it that need is already there. It's already done. It's already answered.
I think just to add to what you said, faith is very important. Obedience is also important. You have to obey God, obey His commands, and don't go about grumbling because some people have faith but they still grumble. The slightest when you remember that, oh, I don't have this thing and my friend has it, I've been praying for this thing for so long, and you start grumbling. God, I'm a Christian, I prayed all day, I fast and all of that, my friend has this, I don't have it. God, what is happening exactly to me? But the person still has faith that's going to happen, but still grumbling. So I think the right attitude is very important.
Yeah.
Another important thing to me that I know is surround yourself with people, friends of faith, believers. Because when you are surrounded with people that shortcut friends, people who they want things instantly. Like if God is not showing up for them, they know how to cut their ways and get it. you might not really understand what it is to wait. You might not understand that you have to wait. There's a wilderness period in our life that we have to wait. But when you're surrounded with friends whereby, when they want something, they go out of their way to get it at all costs, they get it. That won't really encourage you to wait on God. An example we can see is the example of Job. Although he didn't yield to his friends, but we see the way that his friends were like, oh, curse God, you're still faithful to God, and he hasn't done anything for you. See, you're losing everything you have. See what his wife also said, curse God. I mean, these are people who should strengthen him, your wife, your spouse, your friends. But when you don't have the right people around you, shortcut friends, they make waiting seem so stupid and foolish. You're waiting, why exactly are you waiting? But we see that we already discussed why we have to wait on God, why it is important to wait on God, and why we have, as Christians, have to wait on God. So I think that is very important and crucial too. Do you have any other thing you have to add?
Yeah, I think to everything you said, when you're waiting, it means you're reading the Bible. Read it, understand it, let God just feed you with His word and believe it. Believe His word. Because Jesus said, it's in the Bible that as a man thinks, so is he. Galatians 6:7 said, be not deceived, for God is not mocked. Whatsoever ye sow, that shall you reap. So if you're waiting on God for that need, you've already sow it. Forget about how it's gonna germinate. Forget about how it's gonna grow. It will grow, because there's nothing you can do to get it that that problem or that need. You can't do anything to make it come to pass. You have to let God cause it grow. And so Philippians 4:8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, if there is any virtue and if there is any praise, think on these things. So while you wait, you think about great stuff, positive things, love, joy, peace. Think about that.
I think just to add to that, attitude of praise, I think that kind of sums into attitude of praise. Because when you are thankful, even for the things you don't have, they come to you. They thank you for the things you have, and God has given you in the past. He has showed up for you before, but this particular one, you're just waiting and you just have to wait. So attitude of praise is very necessary and important as we go and as we wait on God for. And so I think there are a lot of attitude you need to. I think fasting is another very important thing as Christians. We see when Esther had to meet the king to protect the Jews. She had to wait, and then in waiting, she told Mordecai, go tell the people to fast and pray along with me. Because she knew the importance of fasting and waiting on God. When waiting on God, you fast and you pray. Fast and pray.
I mean, Jesus said that this thing, you cannot do this thing without fasting and prayer. Certain things, you have to go empty stomach. You have to go all in. And one thing I've seen is when we pray, we should consider that prayer answered. Okay? We shouldn't go back home or leave the prayer grounds and say, oh, it's hard. Life is that, this is that. God, when He gets your problem, He write it down. He will send, angels or those who take the order, send them to grant that request.
So the next question is, what is the significance of waiting on God? And I think one thing that comes to mind, that pops to my head, before you talk, is the fact that when you wait on God, at the end of the day, God's glory is revealed through your waiting. And that's the most important thing as Christians. We want people to see God and see God reveal Himself in you. A very good example of that is the story of Job, which I keep saying and saying again, because he waited on God, and what happened to him? God gave him double restoration, and people were like, oh, God did this for you. That would be so surprising that God could do again. The story of Lazarus, he was risen from the dead. Raise somebody from the dead. It's like, boom, even today, somebody, raised from the dead. When you hear that story, you're always like, wow, even though that it has happened in the past. So God revealing Himself through us, that is very significant. can, if you want God to reveal Himself, like His glory to be revealed through you, you need to wait on God and let people see that God is working through you for Him and for His glory. What do you think?
I think I agree with everything you've said, and in my own personal experience, I had to wait on God. When I graduated high school and then tried to apply to the university in my country, and I was denied. I thought, oh, my life is done. But guess what? I was prayerful. I was just, dancing in church, and my personal relationship with God was so tight that I knew God was directing me to a different and better, thing. And I have to wait. You get a rejection. God is working. He's promised us that He will make. He has better plans for us, right? So going back on my experience, I go back to Saul and Samuel. When we are patient with God and His prophets, everything. It doesn't matter if the enemies are so close, if the deadline is so close. Man, you don't look at the deadline. Look to the face of God. And that's why He says that be anxious for nothing. Right?
Exactly.
In everything by prayer, thanksgiving, with supplication. I gotta
make your request known unto
exactly.
God. And He's more than able.
I know. And when you make your request, just go home and sleep on your couch. I was doing the couch. Just go to sleep, knowing that our God is able, and He will do exceedingly.
What I would ask of Him. So one thing that comes to my mind again is waiting on God. It can be to strengthen the faith of other people around you. Because when you see that you waited on God, and after waiting you got exactly what you prayed for, it kind of tears up something in them, and they want to wait on God because they see that what you got in return is so awesome. I've seen instances where people's testimonies around me have blessed me and encouraged me to wait on God. I remember times in my life where I was praying to God for so many things. I cried. Actually, I did cry, and I won't lie to you. Waiting on God is not as easy as we say. There's some low moments and there's some really high moments. But what keeps you going is actually the faith you have and the belief that He can do all things for you. So it strengthens the faith of the people around you, which happened to me. I'm a living testimony to that. People around me, when they share their testimonies, I say that, if God can do it for this person, He can do it for me.
Yeah.
So that strengthens somebody's faith.
He can do even better for you.
Yeah.
He's right in you. He created you in a beautiful and most extraordinary way from me and from other people. So, what He got going for you is different from what He got going for me. So
That's
what
true.
I need to do is to show love to everybody I come in contact with while I'm waiting. Because if you're waiting on God and you are just, what is it? I don't know the name I can use for that, but when you're all grumpy and not liking people, guess what? Matthew 7:12 says that whatever you want others to do for you, do ye even so to them. Because if you're waiting on God and you're not showing love to people, that's what you're going to get in return. And so that's my favorite verse. I try to say M7:12. Whatever you want others to do for you, do you even so to them while you're waiting.
And I think also, in addition to strengthening the faith of others, you can also strengthen your own faith, because when you wait on God for a particular thing and it happens after, when you need another thing again and you have to wait, it wouldn't seem like waiting is something really hard, because you've gone through it
You've
before,
had experience.
and now you have to wait. You just pretend like, oh, my daddy's gonna do it, my God is gonna do it. Like, He will always show up for me. Even at the point I do not expect.
There's nothing hard for God.
There's nothing.
Time will not allow us to give you all the full details of how God has moved us from grace to grace. But it's worth it to wait on God than to wait on Amazon or Amazon Prime.
Yes. Because your package can even get missing.
Exactly.
But God's package wouldn't get missing at all.
Exactly.
Yes.
Whatever be the problem, when we pray, we should know that He's already got it.
Nice.